Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 7th of October 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, today our topic is remembering our personal stories is very important. Share what happened when you were 22 years old. All right, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Yeah, so when I was 22, I remember that this is the year that uh, I was given a car, which is uh, to drive to school. Yeah, and then because one of the reason is because at that year my mom was quite busy, and also because my niece was around I think is 1 years old or 2 years old. So yeah, my mom was very busy at home, and she couldn't get me to school and then come and fetch me. She could, but that will be very busy for her. And then yeah, so starting from 22 years old, uh, I uh, I kind of having a car to drive and then to go anywhere. And then at that time, actually, I felt very happy. And also, I remember that um, I kind of like to drive. Yeah, I like to drive, and then I enjoy driving. Yeah, and then at that time, that was a manual car. Yeah, and then yeah, even though that was a manual car, and I still enjoy driving. Yep, and then also in that year, I remember that yeah, uh, I hang out with my friends quite often. Yeah, because I can handle the transportation uh, already, and then also this year I get a part-time job. Yeah, which is working in a working in a shop which is selling smartphones, and also selling some uh, accessory of the smartphone. Yep, and then also last to mention is in this year I also um, had the chance to move have the chance to leave without to leave not in the house which is with my parents, because at that time uh, my brother and I actually we live in we rent a house and then we live outside. Yeah, because the previous house that is too small for us, and then so that actually at that time that was the first time that I live not in the same house with my parents, and then yeah, that was um quite a good experience because that never happened in in my life. And uh, and thinking back, I don't think it was like hard life. No, it is actually quite enjoying because firstly I don't have to bear uh, the rental, and my brother, yeah, my brother paid the rental, and then at that time because I was still studying, and uh, um, even though I have the part-time job, but I only get a few hundred from the part-time job. So my brother paid the rental, and I remember that the rental is actually not very cheap. It's quite expensive, which is 500 every month. And but if you consider that is rental for the whole house, then I think it was a very expensive.
Is
Yeah,
it
and
an
then
apartment or
it
is
is
it
not
an
an
And
It
the
is
house?
not. Yeah, it is not an apartment. It is the terrace, uh, 排屋. Yeah, and then because one of the friend of my mom just moved to her new house, so uh she uh she have left the house for empty, and then she haven't decided to rent to others. So at that time, uh, we had a chance to rent a house only for 500, and then that is a double story terrace. So I think for 500 it is actually quite cheap. Yeah. But actually, yeah, only I and my brother live there. So we got two-person, we live there, and yeah, the house is yeah, kind of too big to us. Yeah, and then yeah, so we started to live there, and then I yeah, I have to do something like to wash the clothes by my own, um, and then yeah, to also to clean the house regularly. Yeah, and also to but I didn't cook. Yeah, at that time I think this is one thing um I wish I tried when I was 22, because at that time I actually live without in the same house with my parents, and then um so at that time actually I eat out quite a lot, and then sometimes I also go back to uh my parents' house and then eat together. And the place that I rent is not very far away. Actually, is quite near to my parents' house. It is like 15 minutes uh, distance. Yep. And then yeah, so I think this is my sharing today.
Is it enough to cover the living cost with your few hundred income part-time part
Yeah. Yeah, at that time I don't have to pay the rental, and then what I need to pay is actually uh the cost eating out, and then just a few hundred for 1 or 200 for, I think it's like 100 for the petrol. And yeah, actually I every day I think I eat out in the morning for breakfast, and then for for lunch and dinner. Yeah, for lunch and dinner I sometimes eat at home, sometimes eat out. So um yeah, at that time, I think I don't have much savings, I remember.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, for me, when I was 22, and this is the year I meet you, and also I meet one of our other friends. Yeah, I remember it is in a class, or I'm certainly not sure what's the class. Is it ISO or is it?
The
Yeah, I think it's ISO, right?
yeah,
The
either is ISO or the management science
management
class, right?
management accounting. Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Management science method is MSN MSM is our third year subject.
Mm,
And yeah, so uh, we didn't study that in the same classroom.
mm,
Yeah, and yeah, so this is the year I meet you, and I still remember the date. And uh yeah, and on that day we actually sit together, and this is a uh for this is a table for four people, and I sit I sit the inside, and you sit the middle, and my friend also sit the middle. And at that time, I and my friend actually
yeah.
uh uh we don't know about you. And we didn't see you and another friend. So we kind of think that, yeah, you are something like the senior, or you actually are taking another subject, which is the business management. And so now we join us together. And so before the end of the class, yeah, we actually decided to try to talk to you, and try to meet new friends. And
Yeah.
and the task has been passed to my friend. Yeah,
Mm.
because he sit next to you.
Mm.
And yeah, so you are quite you are the persons is very um, easily to talk with. Yeah, and then yeah, so very soon, uh, and then we become friends. Hmm. Yeah, so this is one of the things.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
another thing is, in the year, I actually feel that I feel that I feel something about the teaching. Yeah, and actually, uh, be, before I have the before I have this feeling about the teaching, I have a new thought about teaching. I actually have quite few experience about teaching other people.
Mm.
Yeah, no matter in in their secondary subject, or their A level subject, or their like have like the diploma subject. Yeah, so I have quite few experience on teaching other people, but this is not maybe it's not like a teacher. Mm.
Mm.
And what I feel is actually okay, the feeling and the new thought is actually come from my my degree second year's teachers. And I we actually have four subjects.
Yeah.
Okay, at that time, the first is management, accounting, ISO, information system organization, and financial reporting, FR. And also the last one is microeconomic. Yeah, and in the first half year, it teach by uh one one of the one of lecture and Mr. Lee, and the second half year it actually teach by uh another teacher. I think it's called Miss Ng something. Yeah, if I didn't forget her name. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So uh, this actually mm, mm, very easy to compare, or uh for for these four teacher, they are comparable uh to let me have this kind of new thought. What is it? The first is uh if I compare the MA versus the ISO.
Yeah.
ISO, the teacher and the lecturer who teaches the subject is called Louis.
Mm.
Yeah, and most of the students don't like him. Yeah, because he kind of uh like to talk a lot of bullshit, talk a lot of uh talk a lot of the thing that we actually don't care, and we
Mm.
have no idea about that. Hmm. And we actually expect what uh what he teaches is how to score a higher mark in the
Mm.
exam. Yeah, but he seldom do that. He just teach uh the syllabus. He just teach the subject. Hmm. And he just try to give us a big idea, and also uh he also want to he also try to teach us what is the subject what the subject is about. Yeah, and most of students, including me and my friend, don't like him. Yeah, because we kind of like get nothing from him. to score higher mark. And if you look at the management accounting, yeah. So this is a teacher. I actually forget her name. Yeah, I think it's Vivian. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Vivian is a teacher who only teach about the syllabus. Yeah, who only focus about the syllabus and give us do a lot of like the exam question, past year question, and during the class. So it's a kind of like the opposite of to do is the teaching method is kind of like the opposite. And but most of people, or I should say, there are very little people dislike Vivian. Yeah, and they dislike Vivian is because they think she teaching method is quite boring. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but just that, uh, and also you can find uh, they still will have some students think the teacher is boring, no matter uh, in which in which the 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 class. Yeah, so it's quite normal. Yeah, so and also people will think, yeah, Vivian teach quite good, okay, because she can let us understand. Yeah, she also give a lot of example, guide us and help us to guide us through a lot of questions. So we know that we actually can handle the question.
Yeah.
And how about the ISO? The Louis don't do that. Yeah, he didn't do that. Yeah, and yeah, so these two people is kind of like the opposite of each other. Mm. And so it made me think, yeah, what kind of teaching is good? Mm. For Vivian, she actually have quite a lot of experience in teaching. Yeah, and because what I know is she's a vegetarian and uh, she go to our kitchens. She go to our
Cafe.
restaurant
Oh,
to
yeah.
eat. Yeah, to eat quite often when I was in year one. Mm,
Mm.
yeah. So I know that she also have some some teaching. I mean, some class in SCCA. Yeah, and also I'm not sure whether in Singapore also. Yeah, so she kind of like have many she has many class. So maybe she has some experience uh on forming her teaching method and what she want to focus on. Yeah,
Mm.
and yeah. So but how about the Louis? Yeah, Louis also have some class in other college. Mm. And yeah, but Louis is mostly teach about business. Yeah, and Vivian mostly teach about like the accounting, like the finance. Mm.
Mm.
So it made me think that, yeah, what kind of teaching method is good? Mm. And if I look back to my A level teacher, which is the Allen, Mr. Allen,
Mm.
and he also teach about the business subject, and nobody will doubt he's a bad teacher, he's a bad lecturer. Mm. And in year two, and actually at that time, many people uh, have thought about and also request to the school, to the college, they want Alan to teach them this this subject.
Mm.
Mm. So yeah, and we can know that, yeah, but Alan is a person he's not quite friendly. Yeah, and
Mm.
uh he he will do a lot of things that freak that something like the fright uh fright you. Yeah, so yeah, and but why people like him? Hmm. And if you talk about the value he provided, he also not only teach about the syllabus, the subject, and he will also share some experience. Yeah, he also will share some kind of like the real life experience, and share some company story. Yeah, so we also can learn something from it. Yeah. And my another teacher, which is a financial reporting, and this is a teacher called Netflix. Yeah, and yeah, she's a really great teacher, and nobody will doubt nobody will doubt her ability. And if you want to rank, which teacher is the best in these 4 or 5 teacher in my year 2, and most of people will say, yeah, the Netflix is the best teacher. Amongst them. And Netflix, he is also quite toward the Vivian type. He she teach about the syllabus. She focus about the subject because this is an accounting subject. Yeah, and she also guide us through a lot of questions. Yeah, and yeah, sometimes she also will share some experience, and then share her students' experience in like the Big Four or in the accounting firm, in audit firm. Yeah, so but it's just this is just a fraction. Yeah, it's just a fraction of sharing compared to her teaching. Yeah, but people like her. Mm, yeah, and if you want to be a teacher, and if you're interested in this industry, then something that you need to know. Yeah, how to teach smart. Mm, how to teach smart, and not only teach good, because you can teach good. For example, like the Louis, want he actually want to help. He actually want to help us because he know only you fully understand the subject, and then you can apply this very well. Then you can score high in exam, and also get a high score in the exam is not the purpose. Yeah, you study the subject is not because you want to get a high score. It's actually you learn the knowledge, and the knowledge may help you in your career after you graduate, or help you make decision. Yeah, after you graduate. So he kind of like don't want us to too focus about this uh the the exam. Yeah, and also he he didn't do uh wrong thing. That means uh he he actually make a right decision, because he know that in this subject there are very little people who fail the exam. Yeah, and also he keep telling us about this. So he really wants like kind of like want to calm us, so make us feel relaxed, and then we can and then we can like focus about what he's talking, what he's teaching, and try to learn the knowledge. Yeah. Mm, but I think he failed to get the results. He failed to get the result he want to achieve. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes uh and I mean uh from uh from from this from all these case, and also from the teachers that I see, and I realize that we need to teach smart, and we cannot just teach good. Yeah, and also in my past experience, actually, there are quite a few times that my friend or my students, they actually say that I actually teach better than the teacher, than the lecturer. Yeah,
Mm.
so it actually made me feel happy. Hmm. But after sometimes, if I look back to what the subject, or look back
Yeah.
the part, the chapter that I teach them, they actually didn't score well. They actually didn't handle well. Yeah, even though uh in at the time I teach them, I also like kind of like give them some tests and ensure they really understand that.
Mm.
Yeah, so they can handle well at that time. But after some time, maybe they think I teach quite well, and then they also think that they fully understand.
Mm.
They can fully they they can handle about the chapter. Yeah, so they don't do the revision. So after some time they actually forget. But how about some chapter? How about some subject? And if you look at these four subjects, okay, the MA, ISO, FR, and the microeconomics,
Yeah.
which subject is a subject that we spend most of the time in? It's actually ISO. I think for most of the students, it's like this. Because we think the teacher who teach ISO is not doing his job well, so we need to pay more effort. We need to pay more energy on that
Yeah.
subject. Yeah. So if you think about from a higher level, maybe Louis also have his own strategy. Mm, yeah. So because maybe he know that this subject couldn't just like the accounting subject got you do a lot of questions,
Mm.
and then you can score well. It really needs you to study the syllabus and really read a lot of material, so you can write the essay. Yeah. So maybe this is his strategy. I don't know. Yeah, but this is something that I found that is quite is very very interesting, because it can explain from the psychology aspect, which is our Monday review topic. Yeah. If you think about, you want them to pay more energy, pay more effort, to spend more time to study, what kind of strategy you want to apply? Maybe you can teach very, very well. You can teach very, very good. You can explain the thing very, very clear. But maybe you shouldn't do that. Yeah. Because when you do that, your student think they fully understood, and they rely on you, they rely on the teacher, and then they don't do the revisions.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. But how about the FR, the financial reporting? Yeah, the teacher, which is the Netflix, she teach really well, and also, but we also uh, like the subject. We also will spend time, will spend effort on that subject. Yeah. I'm not sure other people, but at least for me and my friends, we actually um, kind of like really still will spend time on that subject. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
But I think for my case and for my friend's case, it couldn't explain. It couldn't explain well, because um, yeah, we actually have a study plan. We have a study plan for all the subjects.
Mm.
But when I look at the result, the FR result, quite a lot of people attend the trial exam, and no people amongst them fail the exam. I mean, fail the trial exams. Yeah. So, the overall result is also better. Is also quite good. So didn't fall into uh the the dilemma, or the what is this, or which is the certainly forget the terms, but never mind. They didn't. Yeah, the paradox. Yeah, they didn't fall into the paradox, which is the teacher teach very well, but the student get very little result.
Mm.
In the exam. So this is something that I would like to understand. That I like to spend time to study. Why it could be happen, and
Yeah.
how to do it right. What's a strategy to teach good? Okay, you can teach good, but also you can teach smart. So your students will also spend time on revision. They won't like fully rely on you.
Mm.
Yeah. So as a teacher, do you have any idea about that, or do you
Um,
have any experience about that?
yeah, I think for student in Malaysia, maybe because of the education systems, yeah, we kind of prefer uh, teachers that help us uh, in the exam. Yeah, and especially in the secondary school, in my secondary school, we actually expect teachers to kind of prepare everything for us to study, and then we need something like notes, and then for the exam, something like that, and then also we spend time only before exam, and so I think students they like something uh, like the materials they can use before exam, and then um, yeah, in the class they um, in the class yeah, in the class of course they need a teacher that can make something understandable. Yep. So to me, my opinion is students prefer teachers help in exam, and then in the college, I think Alan is actually quite amazing because looking at his teaching style, uh, he of course he teach good, and then but he somehow has the way to make you also spend time in this subject, and yeah, I think uh, sh- he make it which he make it he teach really good, and then give very good explanation, and but you won't because of this, and then spend less time in preparing, and he'll make sure that uh, you go and do revision before every lesson, and then also he will make sure that you pay really full attention during his class. So but at the end he managed to help us in the exam. So yeah, I think so. This is the biggest reason people like him, is because what we get, which is the result, and people actually don't like the process. Yeah, if you ask people go into his class, do you enjoy the class? I believe that nobody will say they enjoy the class. We actually feel struggling in his class, and I have a few lessons which I actually got a headache after the class. Yeah, because it's like too focused in the class, and then you have to prepare to to stand up and answer his question. And sometimes the question is like, what was my last sentence, something like that. So you really have to pay full attention. So I think yeah, Ellen is amazing, and for other teachers, actually they didn't do anything wrong. It is just that students are too dependent on teachers within the Malaysia uh, type of educations. So I think actually for these students need to uh, yeah, I don't know whether it's the wrong of the students or the wrong of the education system, starting from primary school, which students depend a lot on teachers. And I believe that in maybe in the Western country, the teaching style like Mr. Lewis uh, is quite normal, right? Yeah,
Mm,
teachers will not focus so much on exam, and especially for subject like business, like for example those marketing, this kind of subject.
yeah. uh, from from Louis' teaching,
Mm,
uh, I think he didn't do his job very well. When he's teaching, because he didn't like kind of like link uh the syllabus, link his teaching
mm,
to what we can feel, what we can understand in our real life. Yeah, because maybe this is a new subject. Yeah, it involves like the database, it involves like the, yeah, for example, like transaction cost model, decision
mm,
making model, data model. Yeah, and it's very difficult to link it to our real life and make it understandable. Yeah,
yeah.
of course, he can give a lot of like company example, how the company becomes success after apply this model. But actually, we all know that company success is not just because of one decision making. It's not
Mm,
just depend on one business model.
yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. So, mm, yeah, and but what I benefit the most in the college, yeah, is actually from the presentation. From the presentations, yeah, ironically, I miss out outside outside from the academic,
Mm,
yeah, outside from academic, the most benefit uh thing is actually the presentation that in ISO class. So ironically, because I score very high mark on every exams, but if you talk about outside of the academic in my degree degree studies, and yeah, of course, many of that actually did help me. For example, audit, yeah, and audit and insurance, which is my year three subject. It actually reconfirm my thoughts, which is the cost and benefit analysis. Yeah, because in audit we also have something similar to this. Yeah,
mm,
and also like the microeconomics, it also teach me a lot of things. And like the corporate finance, it also teach me like the uh lemon market. Yeah, and also for example like the signaling. Yeah, for example the dividend signaling and a lot of
yeah.
things. Yeah, and also teach me about like the skin in the game. For example, if you want to manage uh uh do the best for the company and not do the best for his or her own uh personal interest, he may need some share. Yeah, he may need some share, so that uh he, uh he really skin the game, because when he do great, and then when he do great for the company, and
Mm,
he also will get benefit from that. We
yeah.
want to link their motive together. And but if he get too much share, and he may control the company, it also will it also will lead to another problem. Yeah.
Mm,
Um. Yeah. Uh. But but for all these things, I think one of the uh most beneficial thing that I learned is actually from presentation. And in the presentation, it actually is quite irrelevant to the ISO. This is just uh, emerging. It's just some emerging uh, technology. Okay, if I'm not wrong, I think the first one is the IoT, Internet of Things, and then the second is big data. Okay, big data of course, and the third is like something like the uh BYOD, which is called the bring your own device. Yeah. And the fourth one is blockchain. Yeah, fourth one is a blockchain. I would say yeah. It's so regret that I didn't I uh I didn't get the topic. Yeah, I actually get the IoT. Yeah, and this is the first one, the blockchain, and the fifth ones maybe it's AI. Yeah, maybe it's AI. Yeah, it's some. Yeah, I think got six or five, but I remember the last one. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think maybe one of them is the cloud computing. Mm. Yeah, so all of this is just the emerging of technology, and but what I learned that is all of these things, they need to work together. You cannot just rely on one thing. Yeah, and all this technology eventually will merge together, and a business, a successful business in futures will require to to obtain the advantage, the competitive advantage from many, not more many, not all of these emerging technology, but they need to embrace most of the technology. Yeah, so they can really become successful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is what I learned from that. Yeah. Yeah, and one of another thing that I learned from this presentation is, yeah, technology is really really important. And from our presentation, we actually uh, try to do something, to try to impress the our classmate. Yeah, and we actually take reference from from a from a code uh uh from which we take reference of a quote from Albert Einstein, and it is about the imagination. Yeah, and let me check about the quote.
Yeah.
Okay, imaginations. Albert Einstein. Okay, the quote is yeah, actually Einstein talk many things about the imagination. There are many quotes, but I try to find one of the quote. Hmm. Uh, yeah, I actually forget what the code we use, but never mind. One of the code is like this. Mm, the Yeah, is something like that. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Yeah, but I think that the code we selected is actually more embraced with this with to this code. Yeah, but I'm not sure what the code we use. Mm. So we actually make our presentations. So at the conclusion, we actually make our presentation try to link to this code. Yeah, and we give a lot of example. We because it's actually presented by me, and how I prepare the conclusion. I talk about the history of printer press, history of the vehicle, the car, history of the information technology. Yeah, initially we use paper, and we need the we need to send the letter, and now we just press some buttons on our phones
Yeah.
and the internet. Yeah. And the conclusion is, what make all these things? Yeah, what make all these things is actually our imagination. Yeah, it's something like that. So the conclusion is something like that. And yeah, so even though the presentation is prepared by us, and we just want to try to impress other people, but actually, I think the people who get the most impressed is me, because until now I still think that, yeah, this is absolute the reality. Yeah, this is the fact. So yeah, sometimes the imagination is really, really important. Especially when you comes to the technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can link to many things. It also can link to your investment, your business. Yeah, you need the imagination. Maybe you didn't think big, so you think yeah, I mean the perceived value of the company is low, is small. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just because you didn't think big. Just like one of the example I told you before. For example, the Bitcoin. If you talk of, if you mention about the total addressable market for store value, there's 200 trillion. Yeah, so this is a room that Bitcoin can grow to. Yeah, so this is about the imagination. Yeah. Is it possible? It's possible. Is it probable? Maybe not probable. But it is a room. It is a
Yeah.
market space. The thing can grow to. Yeah. And how about the Tesla? For example, if you talk about the full self-driving car, and also we can talk about the robot taxi. If you can talk about the robot B2B transportation. Yeah, all these things is very, very big. And talk about the decentralized or maybe the distributed electric electric uh, electrical system or electricity system. Yeah. Imagine now we all use a solar panel, yeah, on our roof, and
Yeah.
and maybe Tesla can build a network. And then, for example, when you get access of the electricity from the solar panel, you can sell to your neighborhood. Yeah, so it becomes a system that you not only can save electricity, and it also can allow you to make money with access electricity. Yeah, and it is done by it's done automatically. Tesla will use the system, we use the AI to help you to monitor, to help you to process all of these things. Yeah. And yeah, and just like the robotaxi, yeah, and Tesla also can create an application, create a system that help you to manage your self-driving car. Yeah, directly go to a location to take the passenger. Yeah, and yeah, so you don't need to worry about that. You just need to buy the car, and maybe you just need to buy the license, the subscriptions, or maybe the Tesla will kind of like implement the profit sharing scheme. For example, Tesla charge maybe 5% or 10% of the transaction fee. Yeah. So all this is possible. But is it probable? Maybe yes, maybe no. Yeah, but can it affect the company's value? It depends on how you see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is the thing that I learned from the presentation. Yeah. So go back to the teaching. I still think that we still need to pay the effort. We still need to pay the energy by ourselves. We still need to think by our own, so that we can learn the thing. We can get the benefit from the learning, and we cannot just rely on the teacher. And from a teacher's perspective, it actually teacher may face a triangle uh, dilemma. Yeah, teacher may face a triangle dilemma. What is those three things? The first is the first you can think like how to get a how to help the student to get the academic good result, how to help the student in exam. And the second is how to not just teach them about the exam, also teach something that can help their real life. This is the second. And how about the third? The third is how to make the teaching, how to make the learning is interesting, it's not boring. Or maybe the third one can change how to engage your students.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for example, yeah, you can do well at the first and second. You can help them in exam. You also can share them a lot of information about the real life, how can they apply this. But this is your experience, it's not their experience. Yeah, they couldn't really gain the knowledge to gain the experience from your own experience. Yeah. Yeah. And so you it will like fall into the trap, fall into the paradox, which is you teach well, you teach very good, but your student don't get the result. Yeah. And so how to really engage the student is also one of the important things. Yeah, so this is the three dilemma. And you also can think this is a two dilemma. Yeah. Maybe it's not the triangle because how to engage the students at the same time how to help them in exam is also a very difficult thing already.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the add in the information to help them in real life, this is something like optional. You can choose to do, you can choose not to do. Yeah. Yeah. But can it become one of your competitive advantage? Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah. Yeah. For example, try to imagine a student who study the secondary 4 or secondary 5,
Yeah.
the accounting subject, and within these 2 years, the students after they graduate from the secondary school, they know how to do account, they know how to do full set account. Is it at is it an added value? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And would it help them to more understand the subject? Yeah, of course. Would it help them to get a higher mark? Of course. Yeah. And but how do you do that? How to engage your student to do that? This is dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I certainly think that teaching is not just about your input your knowledge into your brain and you output your knowledge to your student. It's not just the input, process, and output. It's not just simple. Yeah, you need to study about the psychology. You need to know some strategy. You may need to prepare something to maybe to impress your students, maybe to try to engage your student, try to grab your student attention. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my sharing for today.
Yeah. Right.
So anything else want to add in?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocal mistake we made, Please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.